Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Professor Ipshita Bansal from BPS Women's University, Sonipat, Haryana. Today we will be discussing about the module Knowledge Transfer in Global Arena of the paper Strategic Human Resource Management. By the end of this module, students will be able to understand the concept of knowledge transfer, the significance of knowledge transfer, the benefits of knowledge transfer in global arena, different methodologies used in knowledge transfer. Knowledge transfer, that is KT as it is called in short form, is an important process where an organization identifies and learns from specific knowledge which exists in another organization or in its different parts. It has also been recognized as one of the key success factors in the implementation of all types of projects in the different subsidiaries. Many organizations have come up with robust and efficient knowledge management portals to disseminate the existing knowledge and add the new set of information to enrich the existing knowledge. Knowledge sharing and learning in MNCs is a cross-border process in two ways, not only organizational but also national borders have to be overcome, which is highly difficult and complex undertaking. However, for MNCs, the highly diversified knowledge in the different geographically dispersed units is a key asset, and the transfer and usage of this knowledge throughout the whole organization is the key for competitive advantage. This module provides a theoretical concept of knowledge sharing in MNCs and focuses on the influence of the multinational or multicultural context on the process of knowledge sharing. The model is subject to broad empirical testing in the course of it. Therefore, provides an analysis of the most important international or inter-organizational context factors and suggestions on how to handle the problems arising from cultural differences with respect to successful knowledge sharing. Knowledge transfer. It is a process where an organization identifies and learns from specific knowledge which exists in another organization or in its different parts. For this, organizations have knowledge management portals to disseminate the existing knowledge and add the new set of information to enrich the existing knowledge. Kinds of knowledge. There are two kinds of knowledge available in the organizations. One is explicit knowledge and other is tacit knowledge. It has been found that transferring the explicit knowledge has been always easy to code and decode as and when required, while transferring the tacit knowledge it has always been difficult to transfer. Coding and decoding itself requires a lot of efforts. Hence, transferring knowledge coding, the tacit knowledge, the real experiential knowledge has always been very challenging. What is the need for knowledge transfer process? The changing business environment has made organizational knowledge a critical factor of business competitive advantage. Knowledge transfer is considered important for the organizations for their long-term existence. Additionally, knowledge transfer has been recognized as an important construct for the implementation projects of any time. Knowledge transfer is a process of exchange of tacit and explicit knowledge between two actors. In the current section, we explained the concept of KT. Further factors that will affect knowledge transfer are being discussed with knowledge flows. As organizations increase their international business activities, they must develop new knowledge and skills involved in international projects. Knowledge flow and its transfer are strategically important to organizations for several reasons. According to Nonaka and Takeuchi in 1995, 4 main factors were identified that will lead to the effectiveness in knowledge creation and named as SECI model. Knowledge transfer process and its need. It has been recognized as an important construct for the implementation of projects of any type, both national and international. Knowledge flow and its transfer are important to organizations for several reasons. 4 main factors were identified that will lead to effectiveness in knowledge creation and named as SECI model, standing for socialization, externalization, combination and internalization. This figure clearly explains the concept of tacit and explicit knowledge and how it operates among people. The model describes both the process of knowledge creation and knowledge transfer. In the first quadrant, we see socialization, and it is applicable on tacit knowledge, sharing experiences, observing, imitating, brainstorming without criticism. In the second quadrant, there is a combination of explicit and tacit knowledge, and so we have externalization. Writing it down, creating metaphors and analogies and modeling is the means. In the fourth quadrant, we have the combination of tacit and explicit, and we have internalization, which is access to codified knowledge and goal-based training. The main objectives of knowledge transfer: first is to provide solution-based actionable information to targeted user groups. To inform decision making, information arising from the project will be transformed into formats that make the knowledge accessible for decision makers at all levels. KT tools include production of facts, information sheets, contracts, database, policy briefings, workshops and conferences. Next is to deliver messages in a cost-effective, concise way. It utilizes a range of appropriate methods. Methods may include a dedicated interactive website, fact sheets, personal communication, participation in workshops and conferences. KT tools include dedicated interactive KT website, production of fact information sheets, workshops and conferences. The third objective of knowledge transfer is understanding the user's information needs. Through the use and continued development of a KT contact base, users' specific needs and interests are recorded, allowing target dissemination of knowledge based on a user's requirements. Then specific tools and products will be developed to meet the needs of different user groups. Action tools used are continued updating of contact database policy briefings. Fourth objective is to provide timely information. To inform decision making. Information arising from the project will be transformed into formats that make the knowledge accessible for decision makers at all levels. KT tools include production of facts, information sheets, contacts, database, policy briefings, workshops and conferences. Fifth objective of knowledge transfer is to transfer knowledge within. Within KT, that is knowledge transfer, can only be achieved through a two-way process of transmission and exchange. Promotion and exchange of information within the project will provide collaborative efforts and facilitate in the transfer of knowledge externally. Action tools will be the knowledge transfer websites, conferences, web discussion forums, workshops, and email exchanges. Sixth objective is to facilitate exchange between researchers and the policy community. Knowledge can be effectively transferred through collaborative partnerships and engagement with decision makers. The project facilitates exchange of knowledge and interaction between its scientists and decision makers through participation in worldwide workshops, working groups, and conferences. Such events will facilitate the transfer of knowledge directly to the user community. Action tools, workshops, working groups, conferences, and user advisory groups. So, what are the conditions for successful knowledge transfer? Use of business in research organizations are considered to be helpful in further doing research and benefit the society. It also enhances the intersectoral mobility by hiring temporary staff and young graduates, but its success is mainly dependent on the skills and abilities of the people assigned. Lack of efficient staff is a problem in knowledge transfer, and thereby regular professional development programs should be conducted, which are sometimes not possible due to cost and delivery problems. For acknowledging this problem, 7 member states along with support of the Commission have developed a structure that will give KT officers a qualification that is recognized. In context to this, Proton Europe is creating an authorization for knowledge transfer officers based on their expertise and past record. Also, there are research institutions who have staff that have connections with companies but rarely interact. By integrating their expertise, it can be ascertained that their skills are easily accessible through research organizations. It is important to mention that pooling of resources should be encouraged by member states in research organizations. However, there is a problem of transnational dimension for which the Commission created a trans-European network which aims to provide transnational technology transfer, namely the Innovation Relay Centers network. IRCs give individual help to industries and universities. IRCs, in collaboration with European University, have made a system that enables universities to share information among companies in a systematic and structured way. Such type of advanced systems are yet to be developed and integrated in Indian industrial scenario. So, how can the conditions for successful knowledge transfer can be created? Involvement of business in the governance of research institutions can help to orient research and education activities towards the needs of society and give expertise to support knowledge transfer activities. Research institutions need to have sufficient autonomy to recruit experienced knowledge transfer staff on a competitive basis. Increased mobility between the public and private sectors will help research institutions, researchers and managers identified shared needs with industry. Significant benefits by outsourcing. Pooling resources or outsourcing between research organizations has several advantages. The patent marketing and knowledge transfer agencies established in Germany, is an example of pooling resources between knowledge transfer offices. Pooling resources also help in creating information for intellectual property, which is a new and creative thing for private sectors. It further leads to strong bond between knowledge transfer offices. The process of cross-border knowledge sharing in MNCs. The process of knowledge sharing in MNCs is divided into two parts: the international and the intra-organizational knowledge transfer. The process of inter-organizational knowledge transfer occurs on two levels, on a collective level and on an individual level. On the individual level, knowledge exchange means that tacit or explicit knowledge from the one organization is perceived by and transferred to other organization by individual learning. At the collective level, knowledge exchange is only possible for explicit knowledge and means that it is transferred from the organizational knowledge base of one organization directly to the collective knowledge base of the other organization by collective knowledge exchange. The process of intra-organizational knowledge transfer consists of different communicative processes by which the exchanged knowledge gets transformed step by step. First step is perception of problems and chances. It involves understanding the exogenous knowledge of the interested organization. Also, opportunities available in existing organization are important to consider for inter-organizational knowledge. It depends on the organization that whether it wants to acquire the knowledge from other organization on the basis of importance it gives to that knowledge or not. Also, since organizations acquire information according to their social and cultural systems, hence they eliminate information that is not relevant to their social system. Second step is individual learning or collective knowledge exchange. It emphasizes the importance of accessibility of knowledge from the partner organization. Two factors that limit the knowledge accessibility are partner protectiveness and knowledge tactics. Third step is connection capability of the learning processes. Knowledge transfer in management practices and organizations will fail unless the governing philosophy, that is the system of underlying structural conventions, fits the system of meaning of those expected to implement these procedures from day to day, or unless the organizational routines are transformed so that they conform to existing knowledge expectations. Fourth step is selection and evaluation of knowledge. This step confirms whether the knowledge is transferred to the organization or rejected. Even after transfer of knowledge, factors like absorptive capacity and learning effectiveness are crucial. Role of culture in knowledge transfer. Differences in national and organizational cultures have two effects on the process of knowledge sharing. On the one hand, they intensify at least some of the barriers to effective knowledge sharing, example lack of trust, lack of communication, etc. On the other hand, they add new hindrances, that is workforce diversity, a broad variety of cultural differences such as language problems. Let us now discuss some of the factors affecting knowledge transfer in multinational corporations. First is culture. Transfer knowledge across cultural boundaries. Since culture impacts the behavior of people, managers have to know which consequences the existing cultural differences have in terms of the behavior of employees. Communication and motivation play a crucial role as cultural differences. Second factor is language. Language, which is also includes non-verbal language, is the carrier and conditioner of culture. At Macarzina and others point out, language goes hand in hand with socially determined ways of perceiving and interpreting, that is, with ways of knowing. Third factor is workforce diversity. Workforce of a multinational company as a whole, as well as of each of its subsidiaries, usually is highly diversified. Consequently, it must be dealt with a veneer of racial, ethnic, religious, educational, social and country of origin diversity. Next factor is global mindset. Effective knowledge sharing in multinational organizations requires a world-oriented, geocentric, global mindset, especially among those who have professional and managerial responsibilities. This global mindset represents the need for sharing and complying with local values and practices. The fifth factor is organizational culture. In order to make the knowledge transfer between organizations possible, differences in the organizational cultures involved have to be considered. In order to establish a global corporate culture, it is necessary to exchange norms, values, beliefs, assumptions and knowledge, that is, taking each other's perspective. The sixth factor is network structures. Networks are characterized by dispersed assets, specialized operations of subunits, and consists of non-bureaucratic and non-hierarchical structures which allow for rapid information and knowledge diffusion and are assumed to be positively related with a high absorptive capacity. Let's now summarize what we have studied in this module. The topic of knowledge transfer provides a theoretical approach to investigate the process of knowledge sharing and highlights the main variables that have influence on knowledge sharing between different organizations in a multinational environment. It can be said that managing knowledge sharing is very tough, but an essential management task. Given the description of numerous aspects which are supposed to have considerable impact on the success or failure of knowledge management in MNCs, it is evident that managing knowledge sharing in such multinational organizations is a big challenge for managers of all the organizations. Thank you.